Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California.
Gavin Newsom just got exposed, not in some stiff press conference or dull policy debate, but right where he never expected, in the cultural battlefield he once thought he owned. While LA reels from violent protests and Californians beg for real leadership, Newsom's been busy playing influencer, launching his own podcast, and striking poses like a wannabe celebrity. But the internet wasn't having it. Joe Rogan, the king of unscripted takedowns, smelled the fakery from a mile away, and what followed was pure demolition. This wasn't about policy. This was about calling out a man pretending to lead while the state literally falls apart. Rogan didn't just criticize. He dismantled Newsom's entire persona, brick by brick. By the time he was done, the governor's brand wasn't just damaged, it was radioactive.
But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas, a speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's
Really?
California was going up in flames, literally. And Gavin Newsom, he was MIA, fiddling while everything from family homes to entire blocks went up in smoke. Instead of stepping up to protect the people who handed him power, he was cozying up to real estate speculators like a Wall Street intern on Red Bull. The outrage came fast, it came loud, and it came from every direction. But Newsom, stone-faced, unbothered, delusional. And just when it felt like no one was going to say what we were all thinking, Joe Rogan detonated. He didn't just criticize Newsom, he eviscerated him in a verbal takedown so raw, it left political commentators picking their jaws off the floor. We've got the infamous clip of Newsom praising speculators while LA literally burned in the background. But before we dive into this madness, if you're new here, strap in, hit that subscribe, and prepare for impact. Now, let's roll the footage.
It's so creepy because it's happening while these people their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plans.
Watch this. Play this.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face.
So ask yourself this, how hard is it really to see that Gavin Newsom just didn't give a damn? Because when the people who voted for you are watching their homes, their livelihoods, their entire lives go up in flames, and you're out here smiling for the cameras, that's not leadership, that's lunacy. Even if he was working behind closed doors, even if there was some grand plan we didn't see, perception is everything. And in a moment of pure crisis, Gavin Newsom's photo op grin hit like a slap across the face to every family choking on smoke and praying their house wouldn't be next. Because what California needed wasn't a sales pitch, it wasn't backroom deals with speculators, it was a leader who looked like he cared. But instead, they got smirks, shoulder wiggles, and media rehearsals while fire insurance companies literally fled the state. You know how bad it was? Around 69% of fire insurers pulled out of California because they were done. Done with the negligence, done with the state's refusal to clear brush, done watching an 11 million gallon reservoir sit bone dry in peak fire season. That's not just incompetence, that's criminal neglect. And then Newsom goes on camera grinning like a man pitching a startup, all hyped about moving forward with speculators. Yes, speculators, while standing on ground that was still smoldering from someone's burned down home. Watch that shoulder wiggle again. That little dance move he does like he's celebrating a new investment deal instead of mourning a community's destruction. Joe Rogan saw it. You can see the fury in his face. He wasn't just mad, he was boiling. Because this wasn't just mismanagement, it was a grotesque performance. Live on camera in front of people who'd lost everything. And that, right there, that's why Gavin Newsom is catching hell from every corner. Because when California burned, he didn't lead. He posed. Joe Rogan wasn't just mad, he was fuming. And here's the kicker. The reason California's water reservoir was bone dry during the fires? Because Newsom's administration diverted massive amounts of water to grow almonds. Yes, almonds. While homes were burning, instead of protecting lives, the state was flooding orchards. Are we really choosing nuts over neighborhoods? That's not just bad leadership, that's grotesque negligence. And as Californians choked on smoke and lost everything, what was Gavin doing? Smiling for cameras, cozying up to speculators, and launching a podcast. Seriously, trying to be the next Joe Rogan? Please. Rogan torched him on X with, "If the ick was a podcast." That's not a critique, it's a kill shot. Journalist Michael Schellenberger piled on too. You cut fire prevention, LA burned. Spent $24 billion on homelessness. It rose 40%. Crime's up. And your move is become an influencer? Gavin Newsom isn't leading. He's auditioning. Obsessed with clout, not constituents. And now some are pitching him for president? That's not ambition. That's delusion. If the Democratic Party thinks Gavin Newsom is the answer, then they're asking the wrong damn question. He won't win a national election. And honestly, he shouldn't. Because if he does, don't expect leadership. Expect chaos, dressed up in a designer suit and sold as progress. America deserves so much better than a failed governor trying to fail upward. And even Joe Rogan, who tried to stay out of politics, got dragged back in. You can hear it in his voice. He didn't want to be involved, but the insanity was too loud, too in your face. He said it himself. We can't do this again. Not with the same people who wrecked everything and now promise to do it differently. Figures like Gavin Newsom and AOC didn't push people like Rogan and Elon Musk to the right. They shoved them. It wasn't a political transformation, it was self-defense against a movement that went off the rails. The modern left became a parody of itself. Endless wokeness, virtue signaling, performative politics. The message got lost, the mission collapsed, and instead of rethinking their approach, the party doubled down, punishing anyone who questioned the script. Now, the exodus is real. Free thinkers, creators, everyday people walking away from the noise. Because at the end of the day, people want sanity. They want results, not ideological purity tests and TikTok activism masquerading as policy. When Gavin Newsom and AOC are the face of your party, don't act surprised when Americans run for the exits. The Democratic establishment didn't just lose voters, they nuked their own credibility, set fire to public trust, and handed over the keys to chaos. President Trump, unbothered and unmoved, pressed harder on illegal immigration enforcement, zeroing in on liberal strongholds like LA, Chicago, and New York. And while the operation unfolded with precision in most cities, California, that was a different story. Under Gavin Newsom's so-called leadership, a peaceful protest mutated into absolute mayhem. Clashes with police, businesses smashed to pieces, and law-abiding citizens left helpless in the crossfire. And Newsom? Nowhere. No action, no authority, just dead silence while his state crumbled. Instead of stepping up, he played politics. He postured for woke approval. He let criminals run wild while officers begged for backup. His cowardice didn't just fuel the chaos, it made him complicit. Eventually, Trump stepped in and did what Newsom refused to: deploy the National Guard and reclaim the streets. Only after order was restored did Newsom crawl out of hiding, with a limp tweet full of faux outrage and zero accountability. While LA burned, Newsom was too busy polishing his image to protect his people. And this is the guy the left wants to promote to the national stage? Please. To top it off, Newsom whined today that Trump never called him, never left a voicemail. Then he warned Americans to be alarmed that the president would deploy Marines without consulting him. Newsom's not worried about the riots. He's worried about being ignored. That's not leadership. That's narcissism in a tailored suit. And if this is the Democratic Party's plan A for 2028, they're already finished. So Gavin Newsom said Trump never called him. Cute. Because what happened next was brutal. Donald Trump didn't just clap back, he dropped the receipts. Literally. He produced the call log showing not one, but two attempts to contact Newsom. The first was ignored. The second, answered. And not some quick hello either. We're talking 16 minutes on the phone. 16 minutes. That's not a missed connection. That's a full-on briefing. And Trump didn't mince words either. He told Newsom, quote, "Get your ass in gear and stop the riots." straight from the horse's mouth. And suddenly, Newsom's story, dead on arrival. How do you forget a 16-minute call with the President of the United States? You don't, unless you're trying to hide it. So now, we're not just dealing with Newsom the underachiever, we're looking at Newsom the liar, a man who let his state spiral into chaos and then tried to pin the blame on someone else. And the media? Oh, they bought it. Hook, line, and propaganda. For weeks, they were painting Trump as a dictator who sent troops into California without warning. But the truth? He did warn them. They just didn't listen. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a calculated deception designed to manufacture outrage and shift blame. Because in the absence of real leadership, all Newsom has left is optics and lies. And here's the kicker: some Democrats still think this guy should be the next president. Are you kidding? This man couldn't manage a backyard barbecue without setting the lawn on fire, and now you want him handling nuclear codes? Let's get real. Californians are waking up. They're watching their cities rot while Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass smile for the cameras. Wildfires, lawlessness, failed ICE crackdowns. Every time the stakes are high, these two disappear or make it worse. And now people are finally saying it out loud. Resign. Enough is enough. It's time to flush out the phony leadership and rebuild this state with people who actually give a damn. Leaders who protect, not posture. Who act, not perform. Because this isn't just about Newsom anymore. It's about a broken system propped up by spin, where lies get retweets and failure gets rewarded. Californians are done playing along. Gavin Newsom's reign over California hasn't just been a disaster. It's been a full-blown political apocalypse in slow motion. Wildfires out of control, crime surging, housing spiraling into chaos, and somehow, this guy still has the audacity to eye the White House. Let's be clear. His track record isn't just bad. It's a flaming wreckage of failure. He let entire towns burn while flashing a grin for the cameras. And when Californians were begging for help, what did he prioritize? Almond trees. That's right. While homes were turning to ash, Newsom was busy flooding almond farms with water that should have gone to saving lives. This isn't mismanagement. It's madness. And now he's being floated as a presidential contender? You can't make this up. The man who lied about speaking to Trump during a national crisis, who let rioters run wild through LA, and who treats the state like a PR backdrop, is somehow being packaged as presidential material? It's insulting. Californians handed him their trust, their livelihoods, their future, and he torched it. Then he walked away with a smirk. Every failure, every lie, every photo op while the state fell apart, it's all right there in plain sight. And yet the political machine is still trying to sell him like he's the second coming of JFK. Here's the truth. Newsom shouldn't be running for president. He shouldn't even be running a lemonade stand. Calls for his resignation aren't partisan attacks. They're a final, desperate plea to stop the bleeding. Because if Gavin Newsom represents the future of leadership in America, we're in for a nightmare. The country can't afford California's collapse on a national scale. And if voters don't wake up soon, that's exactly what we'll get. That's the brutal truth. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more no-holds-barred commentary. We say what the mainstream won't, and we're just getting started.